Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Buffalo, the clock is ticking and the countdown is almost over. Welcome back to the Bills Report, where we break down every single storyline shaping this football team before a single preseason snap is even played. Training camp is barely a month away, and while most of this roster is locked in stone, there are pockets of pure chaos hiding just beneath the surface. Battles at fullback, at left guard, at cornerback, at inside linebacker, and even out on punt return, where careers are about to be made or quietly ended in the sweltering heat of St. John Fisher. Some names you know, some names you're about to learn. And by the time the pads come off after that red and blue scrimmage in Orchard Park, this depth chart is not going to look the same as it does today. So let's break down exactly where the smoke is rising position by position, because Bills Mafia deserves to know exactly what to watch for when camp opens. First, let's set the calendar, because this is happening faster than you think. Training camp officially kicks off on Wednesday, July 29th, with open practices beginning that morning over at St. John Fisher in Rochester. Those sessions run all the way through Friday, August 7th, before the whole operation shifts back home to Orchard Park for the red and blue scrimmage on August 8th, and the remainder of camp unfolding right there at the new Highmark Stadium. Mark those dates, because everything we're about to break down is going to play out in real time over the next several weeks. Let's start at the position where, frankly, there is no battle at all: quarterback. Josh Allen is QB1, full stop, no debate, no drama. Behind him, Kyle Allen and Shane Buechele are expected to hold down QB2 and QB3, and there's no real reason to expect fireworks in that pecking order. Buechele has never made a serious push up this depth chart in his time with Buffalo. And Kyle Allen was the one who received the larger guaranteed money this offseason, which tells you everything about how the front office views that hierarchy. And look, this is Josh Allen's moment. New head coach, new defensive coordinator, a completely new identity for this football team. Every ingredient is in place for this to be the season where number 17 finally hoists the Lombardi Trophy. That's not hyperbole, Bills Mafia. That's just where things stand entering year one of this new era. Now let's move to the backfield, because while the marquee running back job isn't in question, there's a sneaky little battle brewing that most fans haven't even noticed yet. James Cook, Ty Johnson, and Raekwon Davis look like your three primary running backs, with Frank Gore Jr. positioned as a priority practice squad candidate. And don't sleep on UFL standout Ian Wheeler potentially throwing his hat in the ring as well. But the real intrigue at this position isn't at running back at all, it's at fullback, where Ben Van Sumeren and undrafted free agent Jackson Acker out of Wisconsin are set to go head-to-head for a single roster spot. Now, there's no guarantee either man makes this team, especially with new offensive coordinator Joe Brady on record saying Buffalo isn't guaranteed to even run a fullback this season. It's entirely possible the Bills lean on tight end Jackson Hairston in heavy packages instead and skip the fullback position altogether. But if that job does exist, this is the head-to-head to watch all summer long. Now let's get into the wide receiver room, because this is where things get genuinely fascinating. On paper, DJ Moore, Josh Palmer, and Khalil Shakir are penciled in as your starting trio. But don't let that fool you into thinking the room is settled, because Josh Palmer's grip on that starting job might be shakier than his contract suggests. Here's the uncomfortable question Bills fans need to be asking. Outside of dealing with injuries, what has Josh Palmer actually shown on the field that guarantees him significant snaps? And remember, this front office has already proven it won't hesitate to bench a well-paid receiver who can't stay healthy or productive. Just look at how the Bills handled Curtis Samuel's situation in years past. Money on the books has never been a guarantee of playing time in Buffalo, and that opens the door for both Keon Coleman and rookie Sky Moore-Bell to push hard for real snaps opposite DJ Moore. Add in names like McCole Hardman and Trent Sherfield fighting for depth roles, and this receiver room could look meaningfully different by the time Week 1 kickoff rolls around than it does on paper today. Moving over to tight end, and this is about as close to a settled position group as you'll find on the entire roster. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, and Jackson Hairston form a rock-solid three-man rotation, with names like Quentin Morris and Shane Zylstra unlikely to seriously threaten for significant roles behind them. Kincaid remains one of the most efficient tight ends in the entire NFL and could genuinely be the X factor that unlocks this offense in new ways under Joe Brady. Dawson Knox continues to be one of the most reliable safety valve targets Josh Allen has ever had. And Jackson Hairston might be one of the best pure blocking tight ends in the entire league right now. All three players carry real weight in this offense, and watching how their roles evolve under new play calling will be one of the more underrated storylines of the summer. The offensive line remains one of the true strengths of this roster, with Deion Dawkins, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance, and Spencer Brown all returning to anchor the starting five. But the departure of David Edwards in free agency has cracked open a legitimate camp battle at left guard where Alec Anderson and Austin Corbett are set to duke it out for the job. And here's the encouraging part of the story. While Buffalo's tackle depth behind the top four starters isn't exactly overflowing, the interior depth actually looks pretty solid, with Lloyd Cushenberry standing by as a proven, capable backup center behind Connor McGovern. Anderson brings real familiarity with this system, while Corbett brings a legitimate track record of NFL snaps at multiple interior spots. This battle at left guard is genuinely one of the most consequential position competitions of the entire training camp, because whoever wins that job is stepping directly into one of the most important seats up front. Now let's flip over to the defensive side of the football, starting in the trenches, because Buffalo is making a scheme shift that's going to reshape this entire front seven. This defense is moving to a 3-4 look rather than a traditional 4-3, which means bigger bodies with their hands in the dirt becoming the new standard. Ed Oliver slides in as your pass-rushing defensive end in this new front, a natural fit for his skill set. Daquan Walker holds down the nose tackle spot, and folks, if you haven't seen this man in person, understand that he is an absolutely massive human being. Someone who is only going to get better entering his second season in the league and is fully expected to be a full-time starter seeing heavy snaps. Behind those two locks sits a genuinely compelling battle between TJ Sanders and Landon Jackson for the remaining defensive tackle spot. Both players entered the league in similar draft territory last year. Sanders a second-round pick that Buffalo actually traded up to acquire. Jackson a third-round selection, but both also spent meaningful time on injured reserve as rookies, meaning neither has had a real chance yet to show what they can do on a full-time NFL snap count. What makes this battle particularly interesting is the physical transformation Landon Jackson has reportedly undergone, showing up looking dramatically bigger and stronger heading into year 2, which lines up well with the physical demands of playing with a hand in the dirt in this new 3-4 scheme, exactly the kind of role he thrived in during his college days as a strong run defender. This is a genuinely compelling camp battle between two young players hungry to prove they belong. Depth continues to matter behind those starters too, with Zaire Durant, a fourth-round pick, providing depth behind Ed Oliver and Dwayne Carter working his way back after spending the entirety of last season on injured reserve with a torn Achilles. No real drama at nose tackle or defensive end beyond the top names, but that defensive tackle battle between Sanders and Jackson is must-watch training camp television. Now let's move to linebacker, because this room got a serious talent infusion this offseason, and it also comes with some real lingering questions. Buffalo brought in Bradley Chubb and used an early second-round pick on TJ Parker, immediately upgrading the pass rush juice at this position. But make no mistake, there are genuine question marks here too, including around Greg Rousseau's continued development. Depth pieces like Mike Dana and Michael Hogt, the latter working his way back from a torn Achilles, are expected to be full go for camp. though that recovery timeline is always worth watching closely until it's confirmed on the practice field. The real intrigue at linebacker, though, is happening at the inside linebacker spot, where a genuinely fascinating three-way battle is brewing. Dorian Williams is currently dealing with an injury which has opened the door for rookie Kyler Elam-Orr, a standout out of TCU, to soak up first-team reps early. And the flashes have been real. This is a player who profiles as a legitimate coverage linebacker with serious downhill, attacking instincts backed up by real production at the college level. But here's the wrinkle that makes Dorian Williams' path back to the starting job less certain than you'd assume last season when Matt Milano went down with injury. It wasn't Williams who got the first crack at replacing him, it was veteran Shaq Thompson. That's a meaningful signal about where the coaching staff's trust actually lies. So who wins this job? Is it the flashy rookie in Elam-Orr? Or is it steady veteran presence Joe Andreessen, a player who has quietly earned everything he's gotten in this system through years of special teams work and sound football instincts, and who arguably deserves a real shot at expanded defensive snaps this season after paying his dues on coverage units. This inside linebacker competition is genuinely one of the most fascinating storylines of the entire training camp, and it's worth watching closely from day one. Now to the cornerback room, where Christian Benford, Taron Johnson, and Maxwell Hairston appear penciled in as your three starters as things currently stand. But don't let that penciled-in language fool you, because Buffalo added yet another high-priority investment at this position this offseason, using a second-round pick on Davison Igbinosun after already spending a first-round selection on Maxwell Hairston just 1 year earlier. And the early buzz on Igbinosun has been loud. Evaluators have praised how competitive he is and how much sheer energy he brings to this Buffalo defense. This is a legitimate camp battle, and here's why. During minicamp reps, Maxwell Hairston reportedly got beaten badly by Keon Coleman in a one-on-one rep, which immediately raised some red flags. Is that a blip? Or is it a sign that his injury history might be limiting the elite top-end speed that made him a first-round pick in the first place? The same speed that lit up the combine and turned heads across the league. Hairston's actual numbers on the field last season weren't bad at all, and there's a reasonable case to be made that he holds on to that starting job opposite Benford. But make no mistake, Davison Igbinosun is coming for that spot. And this battle is going to be one of the must-watch storylines of the entire summer. Safety, thankfully, offers a little more clarity and a lot to be excited about. C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Cole Bishop look like your locked-in starting duo, and honestly, the traditional free safety versus strong safety labels barely matter anymore in a league that lives in two high shells and constant positional versatility. Both of these players can operate near the line of scrimmage or drop deep depending on the defensive call. And that flexibility is a legitimate strength of this safety room. Behind them, there's real intriguing depth. Rookie Jalen Kilgore returning veteran Cam Lewis, free agent addition Geno Stone brought in with an eye toward dime package looks as a true third safety, and Sam Franklin along with Wan'Dale Robinson continuing to grind for roster consideration. The starting jobs here are essentially settled, but the depth conversation behind Gardner-Johnson and Bishop is genuinely compelling, adding real value to a defense that's undergoing plenty of change elsewhere. Finally, let's wrap things up with special teams, because those units matter too, and this year comes with a legitimate competition of its own. Tyler Bass remains the guy at kicker, no surprises there. But at punter, Buffalo's late-round draft investment in Tommy Doman out of Florida, a punter with a genuinely big leg, puts him in strong position to win that job outright over veteran Mitch Wishnowsky. And look, when you spend a draft pick on a punter, you're generally drafting him with the expectation that he starts. So don't be shocked if Doman wins that battle cleanly. Ray Davis returns as the kick returner after an all-pro caliber season in that role in 2025. An incredible luxury for this team's special teams unit. Mecole Hardman currently projects as the punt returner, assuming he makes the final roster, though there's a real appetite among Bills fans and analysts alike to see the punt return production improve. There were some genuinely exciting flashes from Hardman in that role last season, but the door remains open for names like Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, or even Sky Moore-Bell to potentially factor into that conversation if Buffalo decides to explore other options at punt returner. Either way, don't overlook special teams this summer. Hidden yardage and field position battles have swung entire seasons before, and this year's return game is worth watching closely. So there you have it, Bills Mafia, 7 legitimate battles spread across this entire roster, each one carrying real weight for how this football team looks by the time Week 1 arrives. A fullback competition that might not even matter if Joe Brady scraps the position altogether. A receiver room where Josh Palmer's starting job is far less safe than his contract suggests. A left guard battle between 2 proven veterans stepping into an even more important role after losing David Edwards. A defensive tackle competition shaped entirely by a brand new scheme that rewards size and physicality in the trenches. An inside linebacker job that might not go to the flashy rookie after all. A cornerback battle where a former first-round pick's blown coverage rep in minicamp has the whole fan base whispering. And a punt return job that Buffalo may finally be ready to hand to somebody new. Every single one of these storylines is going to play out live in front of us over the next several weeks, starting the moment those pads come on at St. John Fisher on July 29th. So here's what we want to know from you, Bills Mafia. Which one of these training camp battles has you the most fired up heading into camp? Are you Team Alec Anderson or Team Austin Corbett at left guard? Do you think Maxwell Hairston holds off Davison Igbino soon, or is a changing of the guard coming at cornerback? And is this finally the year Josh Allen brings home that Lombardi Trophy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we read every single one of them. If this breakdown got you fired up for training camp, smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more of Bills Mafia. And if you haven't subscribed to the Bills Report yet, now is the time, because we are going to be covering every single one of these position battles live as training camp unfolds, all the way through to kickoff of the 2026 season. Hit subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we will see you in the next one. Go Bills!
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.